Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.
Hello and welcome back to an all-new episode of the Couch Brotato Podcast. Coming up on today's show, Adam and I are taking a look back at the 1995 Denzel Washington, Gene Hackman submarine action classic Crimson Tide. We're going to be discussing some of our favorite scenes, lines of dialogue, performances, and so much more. So grab your headphones, get comfortable as we take a look back at Crimson Tide right now on the Couch Brotato Podcast.
This summer,
This is the captain. We have orders to launch our missiles. This is not a drill.
the battle for survival
Sir, we don't know what this message means.
I've made a decision.
will be fought by two men
If we're wrong, 1 billion people are gonna die.
We are a ship of war.
who see their duty differently.
We're here to preserve democracy, not to practice it.
Feet on the water!
Denzel Washington,
Do not remove that firing trigger!
Gene Hackman,
I'm the commander of this ship!
Crimson Tide.
God help us all.
Rated R. Starts Friday, May 12th.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Couch Brotato Podcast, a podcast where friends shoot the shit about their favorite movies. My name is Russ, and as always, my co-host, partner in crime, Adam. Man, it's been a rough month for the Couch Brotato Podcast.
It has. I feel like we say that every time now, and we need to have April be a not rough month.
Yeah, life
I
be
feel like-
lifing right now.
Right.
Yeah,
We need life to stop lifing a little bit and take it easy.
well, if life's gonna do some life and like do some good stuff, like hey, like when you like draw the Monopoly cards, like hey, you won $50 in a beauty pageant, like something like that would be cool,
Yeah. I mean, except real and in my mailbox. That would be awesome.
right? Or
Even
like,
though I didn't join a beauty pageant or anything.
I would really like a
Just
get
free
out.
food.
I really want to get out of jail free card. That way, I can just like
Yeah.
just fucking cause mayhem. Like you had me, you really did, but look what I got, suckers.
And that's when all the law enforcement just goes, oh, darn, and shuffles off.
Yeah, you know,
Feeling
Roger,
defeated.
like that cartoon cussing.
All right.
Well, today's episode, we had planned on doing this back in early March, shortly after his passing, but of course, life decided to kick both of us in the nuts. So we've had to push this back numerous times, but we are here. We're finally going to talk about it. We are doing Crimson Tide today, which stars Denzel Washington, a perennial favorite of the Couch Brotato Podcast, and the late, great Gene Hackman, which is why we're doing this, is because we wanted to talk a little bit about Gene Hackman, what he was a big part of our lives as movie fans.
Mhm.
What's your relationship with Gene Hackman? Like, what does he represent to you?
So Gene Hackman, as does probably a lot of younger guys like me, represents the original Lex Luthor. So like when you're a kid watching movies, even if it's like a movie that's older than you, you're going to gravitate towards movies that interest you, right? You're not going to like watch a stellar drama as a 6-year-old. You're going to watch Superman.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so he represents, my first introduction to Lex Luthor. A phenomenal actor in that movie too. Like he hams it up, and I feel like each movie that I watch him in, for some reason, he has that Gene Hackman-ness. Certain actors can't get away from playing the same character over and over and again. Samuel L. Jackson kind of tends to play the same character over and over again. Gene Hackman has his special, essence about him, his Gene Hackman-ness, but he still is really great at playing different characters in different roles. So that was my first introduction to him, but then I watched other movies with him, and probably one of my favorite actors.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you, same. I was introduced to him via Superman. To me, still, like, he is Lex Luthor. I mean,
Yeah.
No one's come close to matching that on screen. I don't know, like for me, like Gene Hackman was one of those guys that like you could kind of like, go to a bar, he'd be the guy you could have a beer with.
Yeah.
And he was a movie star, but he wasn't like what most people would consider a movie star. I mean, he wasn't an ugly guy, but he wasn't like what you'd call like Tiger Beat handsome, or you would never see him doing like cologne ads or, anything like that. But I mean, never, even when the movies were bad, I was going through his IMDb because originally my idea was to do the Gene Hackman Hall of Fame. And I'm like, there's no way that, I mean, I've seen probably about 80% of his movies, but there's no way I could have pulled this off. But I come across one, I think he did it in 90 or 91 called Loose Cannons. It has him as a Washington, D.C. detective, and Dan Aykroyd is in it. And he's kind of
I don't think I've ever seen that.
I checked out the Rotten Tomatoes score. Nobody likes it. I think I've seen it once. But even then, I remember him being like good in that.
Yeah.
And even when the movies themselves are not great, he's always good in them.
Yeah.
I mean, like I love The Replacements. No one's going to, that's not high art by any stretch. It's like kind of the genesis of our show. It's like kind of a fun movie to, kill a couple hours on a Sunday afternoon. But man, like if that dude were my football coach, I'd run through a brick wall for him.
Yeah.
Even though he is like delivering like just real shit, cheesy, rah type of speed, like lines to get his players up. I'm just like, fuck yeah, coach. I've got miles and miles of heart. Let's fucking get them. But yeah, I mean, I think for my time, like I would probably say he's probably one of the 10 greatest actors of all time. It's probably a hot take. But I mean, if you go up and down his filmography, he's got 2 Academy Awards.
Yeah.
He's pretty much acted with most of the who's who of the last 40 or 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
Went toe to toe with him. And the reason why I wanted to do Crimson Tide today is because he does it with Denzel Washington. And Denzel is, I mean, I would say probably right now, easily one of our greatest, if not our greatest living actor. I mean, there's Daniel Day-Lewis, a couple other guys, but Denzel's in the conversation.
Yeah, he is.
And most of the time, Denzel can blow you off the screen.
Yeah.
But like Gene Hackman in this is like fucking holding his own. Like this is like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson back in the 80s playing against each other. It's like the two titans going at it.
Yeah.
And I think it's what makes this movie so great is the fact that these two are just fucking going at it, just a masterclass in acting, even though it's like a submarine movie, which it's not Macbeth, but it's like, okay, let these two masters let these two like Michelin star chefs just go out and let them cook.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that it's a submarine movie kind of speaks to the way that they act too, because you're not looking at anything fantastic. You're not changing the scene at all. There's no scene change. It's all on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
You're not dazzled by like rolling fields or like volcanoes or sci-fi stuff. It's all just there on the ship. So the bulk of the entertainment of the movie comes from the acting, and I feel like you really get that with this movie.
Mm-hmm. When was the first time you seen Crimson Tide?
The first time I saw Crimson Tide was probably, I think it might have been on TNT, and I watched it with my dad. Mm. I'm pretty sure that's where it was on. That's where pretty much all of the old action movies of the 80s and 90s end up anyways.
Dude, I missed when TNT and TBS did that. Like you could like,
yeah,
it was TNT, TBS, AMC to an extent. FX was another one. It's just like,
yeah,
you can count on like these movies that are not going to be on like broadcast television. Like, okay, yeah, Transporter 6 o'clock on FX. Why not?
Right. But this is one of those rare movies that I did see first on TV, because usually, like with movies around this age, I was alive when this one was released. This is one of the rare movies that I was alive for when it was released that we do here on the podcast. But I was too young back then. Usually with these movies, though, I'll watch them on VHS in this time frame. But this is one of those movies that I've watched on TV. Ended up really liking it. I'm sure they cut out a whole bunch of the good stuff, but I didn't know any better. So I was a kid. I don't even remember the movie from when I was watching it then. But I've watched it subsequently after that. I think probably twice. And then this will be my fourth watch through of it for the podcast.
This movie, for me, I didn't see this one until like 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why. Like, it was one of those ones, like, I wanted to see it when it came out in movie theaters, never got around to it. I never bought it on DVD or Blu-ray. Never watched it then. And I remember a couple of years ago, like, Vudu had a sale where they had a bunch of like the Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures like movies on sale for like $5. And we were on vacation, and I'm like, I bought like Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I think I got The Rock. I got like 4 or 5 of them, but then I seen Crimson Tide. I'm like, I need to watch this movie at some point. So like, fuck it, I bought it. Still never watched it.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sick, and I just kind of laid around and watched movies, and I watched The Hunt for Red October, which is we got to do it at some point too.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, we do.
Awesome submarine movie too. And I just got to thinking, like, okay, there's Hunt for Red October, and like, what else is like kind of like the genesis for like, what's the Mount Rushmore sub movies? I had seen U-571. I had seen Das Boot. I'd seen some other ones. And I'm like, I never fucking watched Crimson Tide. Like, fucking want to watch Crimson Tide. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh shit. And see, it's got one of my favorite directors too, Tony Scott. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like, dude, this is my kind of movie. Why haven't I watched this yet? And I was just like, I think it's pretty close between this and Hunt for Red October, but we'll get into that later on.
Yeah. I think one of them is a little bit better than the other, but yeah, we'll get into that.
Yeah. But, yeah, man, it was a blind spot. I kind of feel like I've let the Couch Brotato Podcast universe down by waiting so long to see it.
But now we're doing the podcast.
Yeah, I've rectified it.
Yeah.
And we would have done this much sooner, but for some reason it took an icon passing away for us to talk about Crimson Tide.
Yep.
But here we are. And hey, you ready to knock out some of these categories?
Heck yeah. Let's do it.
All right. In case you're wondering what in the fuck Crimson Tide is about, Crimson Tide is about a clash of wills between the new executive officer of a U.S. nuclear missile submarine and its seasoned commanding officer, arising from a conflicting interpretation of an order to launch their missiles.
Yep.
The tail of the tape, Crimson Tide is rated R, which I don't know why I thought this was PG-13 forever. And then, like, as I was scrolling through, like, I'll be damned, it's fucking rated R. Okay.
I think they say fuck twice or something like that.
Yeah.
That's probably why.
Yeah, that Gene Hackman has that really weird line about horses in high school. Girls, like, okay.
We might be visiting that later.
Yeah. This was released on May the 12th, 1995. This stars Denzel Washington, Gene Hackman, George Zundra. I think that's how you pronounce his name.
Yeah, I think so.
It looks like it's Dzundra.
Yeah.
But
I
see,
think
he's
it's
always
Zundra.
He's always going to be Gus from Basic Instinct to me. I know he was in Law and Order, and he's one of those guys, but he'll always be Gus to me. Got a young Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah, young Vigo.
Pre-Aragorn.
Definitely doesn't look good with the buzz cut, but
Yeah.
it's all good.
Pre-Sopranos James Gandolfini.
Mm-hmm.
And Matt Craven, and a bunch of people that once you see him, you'll know you've seen him in something. I didn't notice until this last rewatch. Ryan Phillippe's in this too.
Yeah, he is.
I was like, I'll be damned. Directed by the great Tony Scott. Rotten Tomatoes score 89% from critics, 84% from audiences. The consensus from critics, boasting taut, high-energy thrills and some crackling dialogue, Crimson Tide finds director Tony Scott near the top of his action game.
Yep.
I would say so.
Agreed.
Box office, $53 million budget, grossed $157.4 million worldwide, making Crimson Tide the 8th highest grossing movie of 1995. Now, see, that's
not too shabby.
Yeah, now see, that's what really makes me upset I had seen it sooner, because usually this was like right in the heyday of my movie going years. Like I was at the movies pretty much every weekend, especially during the summer. It's the 8th highest grossing movie of the year. Like I should have seen this.
Yeah.
Nominated for film editing, sound, and sound editing at the 68th Annual Academy Awards. So on top of being, a big box office hit, it was also recognized by the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. And then a little perturbed by this, can't stream it anywhere.
Yeah, no, can't stream it.
Because when I was looking to watch it, I'm like, it's probably on Hulu or Disney Plus. Like, nope. Wasn't even on Tubi. Tubi's like, I can always count on Tubi to have it if no one else does. Like, nope, wasn't on Tubi either. So I had to
for shame, Tubi.
Had to get the $5 Voodoo purchase out and watch it on that.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I show my age and I like to do physical media. It's just like I'm one of those guys. Instead of doomsday prepping, I'm prepping for all the studios to pull all their streaming services.
Well, see, and my thing is, I can just come borrow them from you, so I don't have to invest in physical media.
Right.
It's like, hey, man, come watch The Crow. Can I borrow your copy of The Crow?
Yeah, here you go.
I was like, well, fuck, I got to buy a 4K player now. Oh, well.
I don't know. Most of mine come with the Blu-ray too, so you're all good.
That would be something if I had the space for it, I would totally still buy movies. I just don't have the space for it. That's the only reason I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, that is a big bummer because I am running out of space on my shelf and I need to buy another shelf.
Well, when I got married, my wife and I combined forces and we had, I want to say, probably close to 1,200 movies.
That's a few.
Because we have like a giant bookshelf in what now is my son's room. That's where we stored all of them.
Well, I mean, it was the bookshelf was used for a good cause. So
I think the only thing is I have left are music DVDs and the Beavis and Butthead volumes 1, 2, and 3.
Well, that's also good. So, I mean, you can't really find seasons of Beavis and Butthead anymore unless you go on Amazon, and I'm sure the the DVDs are hard to come by. So,
yeah, I think they may still have the original music too.
Oh, that's nice. That's cool.
Yeah. Did you know these are some fun and interesting tidbits about the behind-the-scenes production of Crimson Tide? The refusal of an executive officer to agree in launching nuclear weapons due to a fragment order is based on a similar incident within the Soviet Navy during the Cuban Missile Crisis, which was the inspiration for this movie.
Yes, yeah. Cuban Missile Crisis.
I found this to be pretty fascinating. Quentin Tarantino was brought in as an uncredited, like, I guess, script doctor. He touched up some of the dialogue.
I could see it. It is a very aggressive dialogue.
His major contribution was the comic book bickering between a couple of the officers where they're talking about the Silver Surfer. And then Denzel comes in and clarifies. That was Tarantino's big contribution.
To be fair, the Kirby Silver Surfer is the true Silver Surfer. So
I guess the character name Russell Vossler is a reference to Rand Vossler, with whom Tarantino used to work at a video store.
Okay.
Al Pacino was originally offered the role of Captain Ramsey, which was given to Gene Hackman. Warren Beatty was also interested in the movie, and Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer, who, if you're a fan of 80s action movies, chances are these two guys produced them. They were like the guys in Hollywood for action. And I encourage you, if you listen to this, is read just get any kind of information you can on Don Simpson. Quite the partier.
Yeah.
Which when we end up doing Days of Thunder at some point, a lot of wild stuff about that movie during the production of it.
There will probably be Adam's Cocaine Corner for that that podcast.
Mountains of it. This is actually one of the last movies he produced before he died. Was this and Bad Boys?
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And then he passed away. I think shortly before Bad Boys came out in theaters. I guess apparently Warren Beatty kind of dragged his feet to sign on, so then they passed on it, and then they went to Gene Hackman, which probably a smart role. I mean, I'm not a huge Warren Beatty guy anyways.
No. And honestly, I don't think Al Pacino would have been good either. I like Al Pacino, but I feel like Gene Hackman was perfect.
I think I've always felt Al Pacino has two stages of his career. There is the 70s and 80s Al Pacino, who is probably one of the greatest actors of all time. But then he took that break where he was gone from like 84, 85 to 89. And then after Sin of a Woman came out, it's almost like he adopted this over-the-top persona that he puts into everything now.
Yeah.
And that would have been the Al Pacino we would have gotten, and I don't think that would have worked here.
No, not at all.
Godfather Al Pacino, serious. I would have been like, okay, I can do this, but not.
Yeah.
Not coked up Al Pacino.
Would have made the movie a little bit more goofy.
Hoo-ha! Simpson and Bruckheimer also offered Val Kilmer one of the headlining roles, but he turned it down. Years later, Kilmer noted it was one of the few films that he wished he would have agreed to do.
Yeah.
They never said which role it was, but I'm guessing it might be the Viggo Mortensen role.
Oh, really? Not Hunter?
Well, they said it was like one of the headlining roles, but I don't know if it would have been one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
It might have been the Gandolfini role too.
Mm-hmm. True.
Brad Pitt expressed sincere interest in playing LCDR Hunter, which is the Denzel Washington character, during the period when Al Pacino was offered the role of Captain Ramsey. Pitt had long wanted to work opposite Pacino, who he considered a master actor. However, once Pacino would not take the role, Pitt also withdrew his interest. Which, many years later, the both of them did Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yep.
So he did get to do it, but just much, much later.
Right.
This is the first of 5 collaborations between Denzel Washington and Tony Scott. The others include Man on Fire, Deja Vu, The Taking of Pelham 123, and Unstoppable, which you can listen to on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcast.
Yep.
Cheap plug of the episode. We're back, baby. We're fucking back.
We're cooking with gas now.
Oh, we got some heat going. we got a little pot. Water's coming up to a boil. We're getting ready to do some things.
Yeah, it's gonna come up to a rolling boil here soon.
Yep, throw them lobsters in. Last one I got. Gene Hackman served in the Marine Corps from 1946 to 1951. This may be why he wears a Marine hat throughout the film.
Yep. Not the correct color, as it were.
That hat may come back up later. Just saying.
Oh, okay.
That's all I got.
So I did notice before we did this, you and I shared one particular fun fact entry, and I don't recall you saying it.
Nope, I didn't.
So
I took it off.
Okay. So the U.S. Navy found the subject of this movie to be objectionable and inaccurate. Honestly, they just thought that it made them look bad. So they refused to provide any assistance with the movie. So since the U.S. Navy wasn't involved, they actually got the help from the French Navy. And they actually allowed the use of one of their submarines along with an aircraft carrier and everything for several scenes. So, yeah. Aside from that, there was some additional footage. Tony Scott actually obtained footage of the real USS Alabama departing Pearl Harbor through possibly illegal means. A paid civilian informant tipped off Scott to the day and time of the Alabama sortie from port on obvious violation of a Navy ship movement regulations. So you shouldn't be, broadcasting when a ship is going to leave port to just anybody. Scott then had camera boats and a helicopter on standby to film the surface sub. And reportedly, the Alabama's captain requested assistance to remove the film crew, but then they decided to submerge the sub prematurely. So the footage Scott was hoping to obtain anyways, and they filmed it. So they filmed the USS Alabama submerging into the ocean, and they got the take. Although the Navy issued a formal protest about using its equipment in the film without permission, it was not illegal, as the sub was in public view at the time, so they didn't get in trouble.
That's so badass.
It is.
That's how you make a movie.
That is how you make a movie. You do things without permission. Hope you don't get caught.
Block off city streets.
Right. Along with the Anatomy of a Murder, Independence Day, and The Dark Knight, this is one of only 4 films whose purely orchestral soundtracks won the Grammy Award for Best Score, despite not being nominated for an Academy Award for Best Original Film Score. So,
hey, done by our dude Hans Zimmer.
Yep, Hans Zimmer, probably my second favorite composer of all time.
I just watched Days of Thunder. We talked about that before he hopped on.
Mm-hmm.
He does the score for that too.
Oh, you know what? I honestly didn't even remember that. I don't even know if I knew that.
Well, now you know. Bonus fun fact.
Now I know. I'm going to have to watch Days of Thunder again just to listen to the music on it.
Oh, dude, if you watch it, let me know. We'll do the episode.
Okay.
I forgot how awesome that movie is.
Let's see here. The set used for the bridge of the USS Alabama was also used as the USS Georgia's bridge in Independence Day. So, which I think same year.
96 is Independence Day.
96. You're right. And then, of course, I always have to sneak in a goof that they did. In some scenes, the propeller is turning clockwise, and other scenes it's turning counterclockwise. Propellers only spin one way. they just mirrored the image because they wanted it to go a different direction from left to right or right to left.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm not filming this shit again. Just fucking roll it back.
Flip it. Yeah.
Old movie technique. Yeah, they probably just like, what? Just roll it back. Slow it down.
It's fine. And then people like me years later are like, wait a second.
Yeah, that son of a bitch on that podcast is like revealing secrets.
Well, that is all of the fun facts that I had.
Good stuff, man. The Martin Scorsese Award for the best scene of the movie. For me, I think it's Denzel and Gene Hackman going head to head on whether to fire the missiles or not. It's like, and it leads into them having Hackman like removed from duty, like his post. They throw him in his room. That whole scene with the two of them just going head to head. It's like,
yeah, I feel like that was my second choice, and the only reason I made that my second choice was because the tension builds up, and you're feeling really anxious, like what's going to happen. But then you realize, okay, no, Hunter's got this, and we're gonna get it out of the Russian sub's way, and we're gonna find out what that message is. Of course, that isn't what happens, and there's more things that ensue later. But mine was the scene where they finally meet up again, and Gene Hackman's punching him in the face, telling him to give him the key, and then they just stare each other down and wait and just talk. And it's so anxiety inducing because the guy's trying to get the radio to work, and you're like, let's do it.
right.
Yeah. It's just such a climax of the movie. And then finally you get that, like, finally they got the message. Who's right? And then you see him read it, and it's just the look on his face. You're like, yeah, Denzel was right. It's such a good scene. I love that scene.
I don't know, when I first seen that, when Denzel was right, I don't know why my mind went to that South Park episode when Christopher Reeve becomes a bad guy and Gene Hackman's a good guy. He goes, foil again, Hackman. Not where I should have gone, but yeah, that's a great scene too. And even like, the sequence where they're fighting off the Russian sub is really good too.
Yeah, or when they're trying to contain the leak in the lower portion of the sub.
I think every submarine movie has that, where there's like the sub has been damaged and then they end up losing a crew member or two.
Yeah.
And that's like, okay, they got to rope it in.
I'm sad that it had to have been Steve Zahn though. Like, come on, man.
Steve Zahn, Cowboy Wayne from Saving Silverman. It's always my go-to.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been in other things too, but he's always Cowboy Wayne to me.
Yeah, Cowboy Wayne. He's definitely been in other things that I recognize him a little bit more from, but yeah, he's Cowboy Wayne.
So what are we giving it to?
I still like the end scene the best, but I'm willing to give it to yours if you like that one better.
We'll call it a tie. We'll just take the cheap way out. Anything where Hackman and Denzel are acting together.
Yeah. Especially when they're angry at each other.
Yeah, when there's yelling involved.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think with that stuff, it's like we said earlier, it's like neither one of these guys are getting blown off the screen. They're both like toe to toe. It's like two heavyweight boxers in their prime. So
yeah,
we're just going to say anything with Hackman and Denzel in a heated exchange.
Agreed.
Guys might think that's the cheap way out, but it's our show.
It is.
And we do a lot of things cheap around here. And that's another thing that we do.
You know what? I challenge any listener that's listening to this podcast, watch the movie and prove us wrong. There you go.
Yeah, all 5 of you that are going to listen to this, check it out.
Watch the movie. Prove it wrong. Yeah,
but you also got to fork over $5 to rent it, though. You just can't go watch it on Tubi.
Yeah, that's true. But watch it anyways. It's a good movie. It's worth the money.
Definitely. The McLovin Award.
Oh, the McLovin Award.
I am McLovin.
For the best or scene-stealing performance, who do you got up for nomination for this one?
So I had Mr. Cobb up for this. Dude had some very relatable tendencies in the movie. Yeah, he wanted to follow his captain. Yeah, his captain did something wrong. And he's like, yeah, no. Fuck you, Hunter. I really like this guy, but he did something wrong.
And so for those of you that don't remember, who plays Cobb?
It is, I can't pronounce his last name
either. So. George Dzundra.
Dzundra, thank you, Dzundra.
It's probably Dzundra, but
yeah, but you know, George Dzundra. There we go. We'll say that. We've butchered plenty of names on this podcast.
Oh,
before,
easily.
So. But I feel like he's a very good actor because you can see that he cares about what's happening. And I relate to him because it's like, hey man, I'm just doing my job. You know, I feel that. I feel that every time I watch this movie, it's like, hey man, I'm just doing my job. I'm just doing what I should do, you know? And then when he's trapped in I forget where they put him in the mess hall, I think. He's just telling Hunter like it is, like, I would do the same thing again because this is just what I do, you know? Eventually I believe he sides with Hunter as well, right? I think he does.
Yeah.
He ends up going back to the captain after a second, but he ends up siding with Hunter at the end. But yeah, I nominate him for the McLovin. He's not in the movie very long, but his scenes, I like him a lot.
Yeah. I've always liked that guy too. He never really gives like a bad performance.
Yeah.
And actually, I think he's probably one of the best. Like, he's awesome in Basic Instinct. Which I don't know. How do you feel about that movie? I've been tossing it around doing it at some point on the show. But that's one of those movies that you have to make sure the kids aren't.
Right.
That is a fucking erotic thriller.
It is. It's a good movie, though.
It is a good movie.
Yeah. I think we should definitely do it. But when I'm going to find the time to watch it, like, I'll probably have to watch it like late on a weekend or something like that.
Adam, why are you still up at 2:00 in the morning? Well, we're doing Basic Instinct. This is the only time the kids aren't up.
Right.
I don't have it in my heart to tell the kids about Roxy yet. I nominated James Gandolfini as Lieutenant Doherty. He's a fucking douchebag in this movie. He does not have one redeeming quality about himself in this movie. Even like on the like kind of the pregame speech before they get ready to board the sub, he's being a fucking dick in that. He's the one that leads like the mutiny against Hunter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, just really good.
I mean, yeah, he's a good guy to hate in this movie. And the only reason I didn't give it to him is because he's a douchebag.
Right.
But yeah, no, I get it.
A little extra fun fact, second movie in 1995 that James Gandolfini did with Gene Hackman.
Oh, really? What was the other one?
Get Shorty.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the movie that I wanted to, it was between this and Get Shorty were the two that I was tossing around doing.
Yeah.
And I think Get Shorty's got to happen this year.
Yeah, definitely. That, Basic Instinct, and Days of Thunder.
Yeah. Stick with us, folks. We got some bangers lined up. Just, they may not come out when we say they're going to. All right.
Well, you know, We do the best we can.
That's right. Is there like anybody else think warrants? I thought about Viggo Mortensen, but he's in a little too much.
Yeah, he's in a little too much, and I think this doesn't count for the time that it came out, but his performance as Aragorn makes this performance look terrible. So
yeah. I'm totally cool giving it to George Zundra simply because we butchered his name.
Yeah, we did,
and
we have to give it to him too.
Yeah, he's not quite.
He's going to be invited on the podcast when we go big. So
I hate to break this to you, Adam, but I think he's dead.
Oh, is he dead? Is he really
yeah,
dead?
I believe he's no longer with us. As a matter of fact,
by then we'll get AI George Zundra on the podcast because we can't bring people back from the dead anymore.
I have a feeling that if we did that on Chat GPT, it's even going to ask us, who the fuck is that? You must be a movie nerd. I don't even know how to spell his name. Oh, there it is.
It is.
Oh, no, I fucking feel horrible, but he's still alive.
Oh, okay.
He's 79.
I don't feel as bad. I don't feel well. Maybe he's not going to be on the podcast when we make it big then, because he 79's pretty old.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That guy had he was in Dangerous Minds this year too.
Dang, he's still acting. Okay.
I don't think he's been in anything in a while, but.
Oh, okay. Oh, he's in Dangerous Mind. Okay, I was gonna.
Yeah, Dangerous Minds came out in 95.
It did. You're right.
I don't think they're remaking Dangerous Minds.
I'm not thinking properly right now. I need caffeine.
Well, I mean, you can't do Dangerous Minds now because Coolio is dead. I can't confirm that. So yeah, we can't do Dangerous Minds. Who's going to do the fucking song?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, the Dean Winners. Who's That Guy? Award for the performer you've seen in a movie, but you don't know their name. I am going to nominate Mr. Daniel Von Bargen as Radishenko.
Okay.
Now, you've probably seen him in Super Troopers. He's in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? But I will always remember him as Kruger, George Costanza's boss in season 9 of Seinfeld. He's the one that George was in the photograph that they made fun of. Mm-hmm. And then George wanted himself taken out of the photo. Instead, they took Kruger out of the photo, and then they had to basically draw him back in.
Yeah. Yep. You know what? I think I'm going to give this one to yours because I didn't remember that, and now it's all coming back.
Dude, anytime I see that guy in anything, I'm like, that's Kruger.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll still say mine, but I think we should definitely give it to yours. So I chose Steve Zahn because, he's character actor in pretty much everything, and like you see him in a movie, he's like, oh, that guy. And that's pretty much what this category is like, oh yeah, that guy.
Motherfucking Cowboy Wayne.
Right. And he was in an episode of Monk as his brother. He was in an episode of Friends. I don't even remember who he played in Friends, but he was there.
That Thing You Do.
He was That Thing You Do.
He's in the band.
You're drowning in the river. You're drowning in it. Yeah.
And I think he's dad in those Diary of a Wimpy Kid movies too.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. But he's never like the main guy. It's always like, oh yeah, there he is. So that's why I chose him.
Yeah, I mean, I think Steve Zahn, this whole category is like, unless you're like a real big movie buff, you're not going to know half these people. But I think most people that listen to this have probably seen Seinfeld. So they're probably going to recognize Kruger.
I agree. Yeah, I think that we should definitely give it to yours.
All right. Chalk one up for the Gipper. The most 1995 moment of the movie. Did you have anything?
I mean, Bill Clinton, footage of Bill Clinton as the president.
Yeah, I consider that.
Yeah.
I had CNN being like the kind of like the news source for movies. Like this was at a time where like CNN was like the hot network that everyone got their news from.
Yeah. I think it was in Independence Day around the same time too.
Yeah, because I think if this were made in 2025, that would have been Fox News.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think CNN being like the epicenter of where people flock to get like breaking news was probably the most 1995 thing about this movie. Well, that or same scene, Denzel Washington filming his daughter's birthday with a camcorder.
Oh,
and the
yeah.
battery sucks, so you have to go get another one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, Bill Clinton being the president too, that footage.
Yeah, definitely dates the movie. Although you cut out the camcorder, you cut out Bill Clinton, the movie still holds up. You know, could be a modern movie.
Oh yeah,
maybe,
easily.
But, yeah.
You didn't even take out CNN. That could have been fucking YouTube.
Yeah. some podcaster doing footage of politics and wars.
I managed to sneak onto this battleship off the coast of France. It's like, why the fuck is that surfer guy on that battleship? Did they pick him up? The Indiana Jones, it belongs in the museum award for the prop that you would most want for your collection.
Well, I think we alluded to it earlier, so I kind of want to hear yours. I think I know what it is. I think.
Oh, I got to get Captain Ramsey's baseball cap.
Okay, there we go. That's what I figured it was. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with probably. See, I would say the dog, but the dog's probably super duper dead.
Yeah.
Maybe. Trying to think. There's nothing really. That's like I said, the characters are what makes this movie, not the props or the. Maybe a cigar. Maybe his cigar box. That would be good.
At least you did say the submarine.
Yeah, I'm not going to fit that in my house. I'm not going to fit that in a museum unless it's like some wartime museum.
Because actually, when I was touching up my categories today before we hopped on, I don't know why. Like last night, I went down this rabbit hole and the Instagram Reels. I found like I used to watch that show Shipping Wars on A&E.
Oh yeah.
And there was this guy that was like super cool. He's like a fucking like he was just an absolute asshole, and he made the show great. I was like, man, I wonder like how much it costs to ship a submarine.
You ship it through UPS. Well, it's going to be about $5 per pound.
Okay, so yeah, never mind.
Yeah, cigar box for me. I think.
Yeah, that's a
little
too.
bit easier to ship.
Yeah, I could see that.
Mm.
Or what about the camcorder?
Camcorder, yeah. But see, the camcorder doesn't. Like the camcorder would be cool, but everybody would be like, "Why you got a camcorder?" It's not from. You can't recognize it from the movie.
Touche.
So,
all right, yeah, that's a good one too. Yeah, but like you said, though, it's like it's really hard to like. Basically, it's got to be like a piece of clothing.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue that one of the torpedoes could be wall art. Got to find a big wall, but could be wall art.
That's going on a barn.
Yeah,
see that right there?
What's that? That's a torpedo from fucking Crimson Tide.
Yeah, I bet you don't got one of those, do you? All right. The John Williams Award for Best Use of Music in the Movie. Our boy Hans Zimmer, man, he's fucking bringing it in this. This score's fucking amazing.
I would give it to the score over any of the licensed music for this.
Easily.
I think they play like Sweet Home Alabama and a few other ones, but like I don't like Sweet Home Alabama. Come at me, hate me, I don't care. I don't like Sweet Home Alabama. Hans Zimmer's score though, just chef's kiss every single time.
It's really hard to like. I mean, this as great as this score is, like it's probably not even close to being one of his best ones.
Yeah, no, but see, I feel like it's still good enough to mention, and especially because it outdoes any of the licensed music too. So like, I feel with Hans Zimmer's track record, and I've gone through I didn't even know he did Days of Thunder. With Hans Zimmer's track record, I feel like when I watch a movie and he's done the score for it, it's not bad. He's never had a bad score.
Mm.
And you can also, like, anybody listening to this can name me a score that's bad that he's done. It is not possible. Same thing for like Williams. They're two of the juggernauts there. And I would even like go so far as to say Danny Elfman's up there with him too, as not having a bad score. So as you know, maybe unremarkable as this movie is in their repertoire, as it were, this movie still has a banging score for sure.
I actually seen a little blurb on the internet that Hans Zimmer was going out on tour, and
oh really?
Yeah, nowhere close to us. So because I would have already texted you about like, hey dude, let's get tickets to see Hans Zimmer in concert. But yeah, seen he was doing a tour. I was like, I know somebody would go with me to that. And then I looked.
He's probably doing his scores though, right? He's not doing his 80s electronica pop.
Band, right? When it's Hans Zimmer in concert, it's like he's just doing his movie scores.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't even know he fucking did that. I just thought he just did musical scores.
Yeah, he started out as the keyboardist for like 80s electronica pop in Germany.
See, like I didn't know that, and I bet 95% of the people that like listen to Hans Zimmer probably don't know that either.
Yeah. He did the 80s pop band thing, even as a German. Like, it was pretty good. Like, I've listened to some of that stuff. It's very 80s, but, you know.
Well, yeah, anything with a synthesizer is definitely from the 80s.
Right.
The newer category, it seems to be a big hit. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback about this. Keep one performer, recast the rest of the cast with Muppets. I'm keeping Gene Hackman.
Keeping Gene Hackman. Okay. Now go with me here. I know that we pick one person to be, but what if both Denzel and Gene Hackman are people and everyone else is Muppets?
I thought about that for a brief moment, but just to see Gene Hackman slug like a puppet would fucking...
You have like little yarn blood coming out of his nose.
Yeah. See him like kind of flail its arms for a second. Damn, he really knocked the shit out of
that. Yeah, no, I think Gene Hackman's the better choice of the two, though. If you're just doing one, yeah, Gene Hackman for sure.
Oh, yeah, him just bringing that fucking intensity.
Yeah.
And just imagine like the scene where he, is telling he first meets Denzel Washington's character, which now that I say that, we never did the Andy Dufresne award for the Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying, but we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, we will.
But yeah, the sequence at where he first meets Denzel Washington's character, like just imagine him dropping that fucking the horses bit to a Muppet. Just the possibilities are endless.
I also feel like a Muppet, just talking to another Muppet about the Silver Surfer, or a Muppet trying to calm down a like frantic communication specialist guy. Like, all right, warp speed. I'm Captain Kirk, and you got to go warp speed.
Yeah, see, it's just
Yeah, perfect.
can't go wrong. Yeah, Denzel or Gene Hackman have to be the winners here.
Yep, agreed. Gene Hackman, I think, wins it out over Denzel, but yeah, agreed.
Bonus points for James Gandolfini, just him being an asshole to fucking puppets. Why are you being a dickhead? These people, these are not even real. These are inanimate objects. You're being really mean to a fucking puppet, dude. Look at you. Look at yourself. Look what you've stooped to.
If he was a Muppet, he would be Statler or Waldorf from the Muppets.
Oh, easily.
Just like, yeah.
Or Oscar the Grouch.
Yep.
All right. Well, we kind of overlooked this one because I don't have anything. But this is the Andy Dufresne Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying Award for the best or most quotable line from the movie. So I don't have anything because there wasn't really like one particular line that really stood out. I thought about putting the exchange between Denzel and Hackman. That's kind of cheating. And I ended up nominating that for the best scene of the movie. So, but I know you had one.
I did have one.
Kind of dropped it in here a couple times.
Yeah. Well, first I'm gonna go with my honorable mention because I feel like it's more profound, and less goofy. I do like where they're all sitting around the table, eating and talking about who the real enemy is. Like, and Denzel says, "Well, I think the real enemy is war itself," and that hits super hard. I like that line. Honorable mention to that line. But my favorite line, and the line that I'm nominating for this category, is Gene Hackman talking to him about horses when they first meet. He says, "Yeah, horses are fascinating animals, dumb as fence posts, but very intuitive. In fact, or in that way, they're not too different from high school girls. They may have a brain in their head, but they do know all of the boys want to fuck them." Weird line. Love it.
That's very weird. It catches me off. Like, it caught me off guard the first time I've seen this movie, and it caught me off guard the last time I watched this movie. It's like, what the fuck does that?
You know what it makes it? So the reason why I picked this, it reminds me of John Oliver. And the reason being is every time he mentions a horse on his show, he always mentions how horses are fucking sexy. Like, why? So maybe there's some truth to it. Maybe John Oliver is one of those boys. I don't know. But yeah, no. Love this line though. Just because of how out of left field it is. And it always hits me in the funny bone every time I watch it. So yeah, that's the line I nominate.
All right. Well, that's definitely the winner.
Okay.
The Shaving Ryan's Privates Award for the best porno spoof name. I tried. There is not one for Crimson Tide.
No, it would be something like Crimson Tide and have something to do with like a period or something like that. Like, some kind of weird porno where somebody earns their Red Wings or something like that.
Yeah, I didn't want to. I didn't want to dig too deep, and the fact that you mentioned that makes me even more glad that I didn't.
Right.
Because I was getting, like you mentioned that, I'm like, fuck, that could have gotten real bad real quick.
For sure. Yeah.
And the fact of the matter is that would have shown up on my phone, like the pictures. Like, how can I explain this?
I mean, the only thing that yeah, you don't want to explain that search history.
Well, I always put it in incognito mode.
Yeah.
But I also don't want like my wife coming in there like, what the fuck are you looking at? It's for the podcast. Like, and then of course you get that. Yeah, right.
Sure, whatever. Yeah.
And then
That's
I have
not
to
what
show
you're
him like
looking
on
at.
my notes, like, no, look, it's a thing. I have it written down here.
The only porno spoof name that I can think of off the top of my head is one that I just made up off the top of my head, and it comes inside instead of Crimson Tide. That's the only thing I can think of. But, it's not funny. It just sounds like it.
I really can't see the market for like a porno movie inside of a submarine either. And if you think about it, I have a feeling with, a bunch of guys in a sub that could be very specific.
It's gonna. Yeah, it's a genre.
Very specific genre.
And of course, they have to throw in the line somewhere in the porno. Man, this really long steel tube has a lot of semen inside. So
that's probably the tagline for the fucking box. All right, the Hall of Fame award for career achievement. I got nothing.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington. No.
No. I mean, this is a good movie. I love him in this movie, but it doesn't come close to his career achievement.
Gene Hackman. No.
No.
What about Tony Scott? If you're not familiar with his IMDb, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Top Gun, Man on Fire.
I don't think so. Yeah, Man on Fire and Top Gun, even Beverly Hills Cop 2. Like, I think they all kind of have that recognizability more than Crimson Tide.
Well, what would be Denzel Washington and Gene Hackman's like career achievement?
For me, and this is just my personal opinion, for Gene Hackman, fucking Lex Luthor. But Denzel, Man on Fire. I mean, I liked him in The Equalizer as well. Man, he's been in so many movies. I just can't think all of them on the top of my head because, like I said earlier, I need caffeine.
I've always felt Denzel Washington. He's won an Oscar for Training Day. He's won an Oscar for Glory. But I've always felt his best acting performance is Malcolm X.
Oh, yeah, that was really good too. Oh, and I liked him in Book of Eli. Training Day was good, yeah. Equalizer, Two Guns, Flight. Flight was okay. American Gangster. Yeah. No, this definitely isn't a career achievement for him.
I would say Denzel's is, I think it's Malcolm X personally, but I would probably say Training Day because he won Best Actor.
Yeah.
At the
Training
Oscars.
Day's good.
Hackman, I'm going to say The French Connection.
See, I need to watch The French Connection again.
He won Best Actor for that, and I think that takes him from being like kind of a character actor, starting to get leads to where like, okay, this, because then that just leads into like the conversation comes up a little bit later, then it leads into Superman, and then we're off.
Yep.
To Tony Scott, I'd say it's Top Gun.
Top Gun for sure.
Let's see, what else did I have here? My phone shut off. Tony Scott and Denzel Washington collaborations.
They did 5 movies together, right?
Yep. Crimson
4?
Tide. They did Man on Fire. They did Unstoppable, Deja Vu, and The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3.
This might make it if Man on Fire wasn't on the list.
It's tough. To me, there's 3 really awesome ones. Crimson Tide, Man on Fire, and Unstoppable is really good.
Mm-hmm.
And then Deja Vu and Pelham 1, 2, 3 are okay.
Yeah.
I would probably say yes to this one.
Yeah.
I love Man on
Okay.
Fire, but the fact that he got these two titans, and it's a fucking well acted movie on top of being like a popcorn action movie that you bring out in the summer.
You're right. I think you've changed my mind. You're right.
But Man on Fire is a fucking banger though, and
It is.
we got to do
Yeah.
that one at some point too.
Just racking them up.
Hans Zimmer scores. We've already talked about that. No.
Yeah, no, he's done plenty of movies that outshine this. This is like a little blip on the radar. It's still good.
Yeah,
Definitely
it's like asking you what Michael Jordan's best year was. It's like
not. Right. All of them?
Chicago Bulls Michael Jordan, not Washington Wizards Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Right.
Submarine movies.
See, there's
I give the
Hunt for
slight edge to the Hunt for Red October.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, even Das Boot has something to say here, but I think that it might be Crimson Tide is a close second to Hunt for Red October.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think Hunt for Red October's the win here. But yeah, Crimson Tide is like 1B.
Yeah. Exactly.
New category I'm going to test drive here. This is usually the Finding Forrester You're the Man Now Dog Award for the life lesson you take from this movie. I mean, there's really nothing to take from here. It's like, what? Don't fuck with America. Like you got to find better ways. There's got to be a better playbook when shit goes south. Okay.
Yep.
Those are not life lessons you can apply to your daily life unless you are, in fact, on a submarine.
Right. There's not a lot you can learn from regular everyday life from this movie where they're just on a submarine talking about nuclear war.
So I've had numerous people that listen to the show have us at the end of the movie or at the end of our talk, give this movie a score. Like,
okay,
what will we rate this movie? So the Couch Brotato, we'll come up with a better name, but on a scale of 1 to 5 potatoes, what would you give Crimson Tide?
1 to 5, you said?
Yeah.
Or 1 to 10? 1 to 5? Okay.
Yeah. And you could use the Ed McMahon scale too, where you can give 3 3/4 stars.
Yeah. I think that this would earn probably 4 potatoes out of 5.
Yep. That's where I was going for. We got to come up with something better than potatoes because, like, I just come up with that literally on the fly. Maybe like popcorn buckets or something like that.
I mean, we are the Couch Brotato Podcast, but like maybe bags of chips. I don't know. We can come up with something, and we will. And maybe we'll find a sound effect that we can put on our soundboard.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll come up with a better rating scale. But yeah, I'd say 4 out of 5.
Yeah, 4 out of 5 for sure.
Yeah, we'll hammer this out over the next week. We'll come up with something good.
Yeah, maybe we can tweak it a little bit with maybe what earned it that score. I think the acting in particular earned it this score.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah,
yeah, the acting, great tense action sequences.
Yeah. You can definitely feel the tension in this movie, and you can't do that for a lot of action movies.
Right.
A lot of action movies have a lot of like build and release. This one has a lot of building, hardly any release. So like it's great.
All right. Well, I think we're golden. So yeah, we'll come up with a better name for this, better scoring system. But I think we're on to something.
Right.
All right. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode, guys and gals. Before my voice goes out, I've noticed as we've progressed, my voice is starting to go out again. But hey, you know what? It's still March, so why not have something else bad happen to us, right?
Right. April's the month that's going to be, easy going.
Yeah. Fuck March. Yeah. We're done with it. We're almost to the finish line. But
right.
Thanks for being patient with us. Thanks for listening to us. If you like what you heard today, please take a brief moment. Leave us a 5-star review on Apple. You can also leave us 5-star reviews on Spotify too. You just click on the link of the show, just click rate right there. You just do 1 to 5. Please. We appreciate all the 5-star reviews. You can follow us on our socials. I do have those links in the show description below. So please take a moment, follow us. That's where you get all the show updates. That way you can find out like, oh, hey, they won't have another episode for like 4 months. Something else has happened to them. Adam and Russ are on a fucking nuclear sub now. The U.S. Navy heard them on talk about Crimson Tide. They got invited to be on a sub. You never know.
Right.
But just follow us on your social media platform of choice. That way you get all the latest updates on the show. So until next week, we will talk to you guys and gals later.
Free audio post-production by alphonic.com.